And now the Hansons and Hiatus podcast with Nate and Alexis.
Happy Friday, fuckers. It is episode number 42 of Hansons on Hiatus. I am your host, Nate, and this is my wife, Alexis.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And don't forget to support the podcast, buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on Hiatus. You can buy us a beer. You can buy us a couple beers. You can follow us on Instagram at Hansons on Hiatus, YouTube, Spotify, anything, wherever you get your podcast. But you can only see the video on Spotify and YouTube. So if you're just listening to the audio, head on over there, give us a follow or a like or a subscribe or whatever the fuck the options are today. I don't know. I feel weird saying that about like Facebook, when you're like, do you call them your followers? Because like followers were kind of Instagram. I mean,
I guess
you're not like
friends.
Yeah, but you're like, but you'd say like, how can I get more likes? You know, you don't say followers in that regard. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. But anyway, we just, full disclosure, we recorded this before we had left for Iowa because we were going up to kind of surprise my family.
Half surprise,
yeah.
half not.
If you listen to the previous episode, you'll hear that whole story, episode number 41. But so we were here in Iowa, and we didn't want to like bring all of our equipment with. Like sometimes it's a lot, especially if we're only here for 10 days.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a lot to lug around, and then also coming back and forth between customs. They're like, what is this? A microphone for what? What is this box? What is it? They get like sketchy. They look at
they
you
get
a
weird
bit.
when you're bringing a bunch of equipment in. They think you're trying to like get by customs or imports and stuff.
Or they don't know what it is, and they're like, what is this?
Yeah, so so it is the 29th today, so Christmas has already happened, and New Year's is here in a couple days, so Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Or Happy Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever y'all celebrate. Diwali, is that thing?
Feliz Navidad.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just going to kind of, since we won't be able to talk about our Christmas stuff yet, since we recorded this already, we're going to talk about some things that we maybe didn't get to. It's almost like the lost tapes.
Yeah.
Of
we got
like,
some stories.
Yeah, just some like things that we've noticed, just little like bullet points that we'll cover, kind of like what we did after like my Europe trip or our trip to the States or whatever.
Yeah, you're really good at writing things down. I'm glad we have this like group chat on WhatsApp now, and we'll write down things that'll happen, because when it comes down to it, you're like, I don't remember what I did this week.
What did we do
or
this
last
weekend?
Or what was that story? Like it's great that you write it down, and I'm getting better.
Yeah. So we'll get some like holiday updates the first week in January, but for right now, we're just going to talk about some of these things we missed.
Yeah.
So one of them is, and this is kind of an ongoing thing.
Still current.
Yeah, still current. As you guys know, I've worked the Super Bowl halftime show a couple of years, and I am on the team now. So I'm like kind of like,
you're in.
I'm in. I got the in. I'm like contracted in or whatever.
You have good friends and stuff.
Right. And unless they tell me they don't need me, I like gotta be there.
Yeah.
So we have a friend's wedding, and for y'all that listen to the radio show in Atlanta, Mindy, she was on maybe in like 2015 through 16 or something. She was an intern at the time. But she's like been one of my kind of, I guess, first friends in Atlanta when I first moved up there before you came up.
Right.
And now she lives in Denver, and she's getting married in Mexico.
Woohoo.
Yeah. So she told us about this maybe like a year ago. Like there were those people, some people get engaged and then they're like, we're getting married like in a year or in like 6 months. They said it like 2 months, 2 years.
Yeah. They took their time.
Yeah. So then when she had, invited us, we're like, oh yeah, I mean, it's close to us. We'd love to be there or whatever. And just a few weeks ago, I realized it is the weekend before the Super Bowl, which normally that wouldn't matter even if I was just going to the game.
Yeah.
But I have to be there for 2 weeks to rehearse.
Yes.
So
got all of your practices, like everyday practices, right?
Right.
Pretty
yeah.
much everything.
Yeah. Well, we'll be like a couple days on, a day or two off, or it'll alternate and stuff. It's kind of random.
Gotcha.
So now I'm in this conundrum. Like, do I miss a friend's wedding and attend the Super Bowl, or not attend the Super Bowl, but work the Super Bowl with the NFL, or do I tell them that I can't and see if I can get out of it to go to this wedding? And it's a hard decision for me because, as you've heard me talk about the Super Bowl before, it's like an experience of a lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean, I meet like really good friends. I'm now this year I'm rooming with my buddy Juan from Guatemala. I mean, he lives in LA or in California. But, we just meet a lot of good friends, and it's almost like going to adult summer camp and stuff. It's an amazing experience not once in a lifetime. This will be my third one, I guess, but
it could be.
It's not something that everybody's able to do.
Right.
And it's, like 2 weeks long. Or do I go to the wedding, which, Mindy is a good friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And, you don't want to miss somebody's big day.
Right.
But then, it's like, it's just this hard decision for me to do because it kind of sucks that I would have to miss this 2 weeks of the Super Bowl and getting paid and stuff,
right.
For a couple hours of a ceremony.
Right.
So I've been trying every which way to figure out how I can do both. I'm trying to find a flight that I can come back for like just 24 hours, but just the flights from surprisingly, there's no direct flight from Vegas to Cancun that I've been able to discover.
Wow. I mean, it's a pretty lengthy flight, so.
Yeah. I mean, and then the time change and stuff too, because they're like 2-3 hours behind us.
Yeah. Or there's no direct flights within your budget. Probably.
True. Well, no, maybe. No, like I'm pretty sure like Delta, like the big airlines don't do it. I think
No Southwest or anything.
No.
Shocking.
The only one that I could find is Spirit.
Ugh.
And they do a layover, and it's like a 40-minute layover in Dallas or something like that.
Okay.
So I've been trying to figure this out, and I think I did find a possibility how I could do it, and it'd be like $200 round trip. So then there's like the money factor then there. It's like,
right.
And I love Mindy, but is it like you got to weigh? Like what do you weigh, I guess? What would you do, or what do you think about the situation?
I think you're leaving a couple tidbits out also.
Okay.
So
all right. Maybe I missed stuff.
Let's say you go to the Super Bowl, you stay there. I'm here to represent us, so I will be going to the wedding either way because I'm such a good friend.
Right.
Just kidding. Mindy's your friend. She's become, her and her fiance have become great friends. But another thing too, it's on a resort, like an all-inclusive resort.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to pay for the wedding. Not pay for the wedding, but pay to come on property for the day.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
We knew that.
It's a day pass. So they're usually like $100, $150,
right.
Which is crazy because they're paying for us to be there.
Right.
Like somebody that's hosting a wedding typily, you
Yeah.
got to pay for the guests and their food and stuff. So it's weird.
The hotel like double dipping, like we're going
Right.
to get you and you.
Yeah. And I think you got to pay that, or we have to pay that because it's an all-inclusive. So you got to pay for, you're getting free drinks and stuff like that. But
right. Does that mean I can come there all day and eat and drink all day?
right.
Okay.
Yes. Like you can go early in the morning, sit there by the pool all day. I'm sure somebody has a room there that you can go and change in or whatever.
Well, maybe I will do that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that there is a cost involved. You're right.
Cost involved to going to the wedding. We have to taxi because we don't have a car here.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be, not a lot, but we would taxi there anyway. But the cost to go on property, and then you'd be paying also for to come back,
right?
Fly back,
right? So yeah, so there are some costs involved, and I don't know. I just don't know what to do because I want to be a good friend, and I feel horrible that I didn't realize it because it was the invite was so long ago, and I didn't really look. I didn't look at the calendar because I just looked. Oh, the Super Bowl is this weekend. Didn't think about. Being.
And isn't it like later again this year? Usually it's like the first weekend in February, but the last 2 years it's been like.
I don't know or like historically when it has been, but it's February 11th, 11th or 12th.
Yeah, I remember for some reason, maybe it was over like 2020, it got pushed back for something. That's probably what it was for COVID.
Did they change the schedules of the NFL? Did they add like extra games or something?
Maybe.
I feel like I remember something like that a few years ago.
I just remember it always being like the first weekend in February. It was always like a third or a fourth, not like the second week in February.
Yeah,
so
it's the 11th.
That probably messed us up too.
Yeah.
But she knows you're a good friend. And I mean, if you can come back, if money isn't an issue, yeah, come back. Money is always an issue, with everybody, especially right now in the this time. But I think she would understand, especially if it's something you're not just like, oh, we can't come, we're staying home. You're doing this grand event that anybody would be lucky to go to. You know, if it was the other way around, we'd be like, dude, go to the Super Bowl, you know, like, oh my God, do your thing. Usher's going to be there. You're going to miss Usher for us. No, go.
Yeah.
Like, we would totally be like, go.
And I think about that, like with my wedding, while I greatly appreciated, our wedding,
excuse me,
appreciated everyone that was there.
Yeah.
I don't like, it's such a blur. And
Mindy was there.
Yeah, no, she was there, and yes, and that was the other thing. She made an effort. She flew from Denver to come and could be at the wedding.
True.
But it's such a blur and stuff. Like I just wonder how much I will be missed. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, are they really going to notice?
They probably will know Nate is missing from the wedding,
Maybe.
just the way you are at weddings. But if they've never experienced you at a wedding, then probably not.
Well, still like about a month away.
Yeah.
Because I have to fly out January 3rd, 29th.
Yeah, you're
to be there.
Gonna be gone for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I'm calling the gals again.
Oh,
Woo! It's our annual January jamboree or whatever you want to call it.
Or my mom will be here.
Yes.
Or my parents will be here.
Jackie is always invited in the girls' jamboree.
Yeah. So I'm sure we'll talk more about that. I feel bad because I know they need to hear a decision, but there's a possibility that I could be cut if they don't need that many people. So I don't want to tell her like, hey, I'm not coming, and then they cut me, and then I can go, and then they don't have room for us or whatever.
And we asked a few like groups of friends, and you always know the answer your friends are going to give. Half of them are like, no, it's just a wedding. Fuck it.
Yeah, do
just
whatever.
Go. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. But then we have other friends like, well, how good of friends are you? Well, it's here in Mexico. Well, it's like the positive side of it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. You'll figure it out. You'll do the right thing.
I know. I just feel bad. Like I want to be there for her big day, so it's a hard decision.
I will be there representing the Hanson squad. So, I'll do my best to not get drunk on wine.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll talk more about that. But this is another situation we had. We had a friend in town, and we went to a restaurant, and they thought they weren't getting the greatest service. To me, it was kind of debatable. I think there might have been a miscommunication maybe of what was going on.
There was a little bit of a communication.
It was a taco place, and some tacos were coming out before other people's tacos and stuff, and they thought theirs were taking too long, or they forgot about them. And so they kind of got frustrated, and I thought they were just busy. I thought they were real busy.
I think they were busy. And actually, mine came out the latest, like last. I was sitting there like, bro, where's my tacos? And he's like, oh, yeah, where are they? I'm like, help.
Yeah.
So I should have been the one that was pissed.
Yeah. So when we were leaving, or getting the bill, he's like, I'm not leaving it. And he actually got our tacos because they were, fairly cheap tacos.
Paid for the whole thing.
Yeah. And when he doing the bill or settling up, he said, I'm not leaving a tip. I didn't think he did a good job.
He was like, I'm not giving him anything.
Yeah.
He was terrible.
But I felt differently, and I didn't want to argue with him about how he felt the service was.
Right.
But I felt this guy deserves something because he did, I thought he was just swamped.
Yeah.
So I slipped 100 pesos, which is like $5-6.
Yeah.
Underneath the napkin holder when we were leaving and he wasn't looking.
Yeah.
Was that like a shitty thing to do? Did I take away his point of making sure he knew he didn't think he got bad or good service?
I'm sitting here watching this unfold next to you, and I already know you're going to leave him a tip because you're giving me the eyes. I know, what you're going to do. And I'm sitting there just thinking of the Friends episode where Ross goes out to dinner with Rachel and her dad, the doctor, and he's very meh. He doesn't like Ross, and he gets the bill. He's like, I got dinner. It's like this fancy restaurant, lobster, all this stuff. They got steaks, whatever. And he's signing the bill, and Ross goes, oh, I think you forgot to leave a tip. And he's like, no, that's what I always, or it was a less of a tip. He was like, oh, did you do the math right? Or he says something like that to Rachel's dad. And he's like, whatever. So then Ross slips some money in there, and the dad sees. And he's like, oh, you think you're a big shot? You can, I pay for the whole meal, like $400, and then you swoop in and pay the tip. And now you're the good guy. You can pay for the whole thing. Like rips up the tab, throws it at him. Then you could pay the $400.
Oh, shit, I don't remember this episode.
Yes, it was
well,
so
that's
good.
dick. A lot of times that's what people do. If somebody's going to get the whole bill, they say, well, you just get the tip.
Yeah,
that's
that's
no
what
big deal.
my mom does that a lot. She always like has cash from her job. So she's like, oh, you're getting it. I'll get the tip.
Right.
I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad, your buddy wouldn't do that, but I think it was a nice thing to do. Okay. We go there often.
I felt bad because I didn't want to be like doing it behind his back, but I felt like it was kind of unjustified.
Yeah, and we live here, and we've seen that guy before, so I don't want to go back there and then poop in my taco.
Yeah, we have to go. Yeah, I don't want poopy tacos.
No, and they have good tacos. I do like their tacos.
Yeah,
they're just a little unorganized.
Mm-hmm. So that was a situation. This other one, another situation with a friend. So. Yes. So this guy brought me a beer back from where he was traveling, and said, if you want to, like a lot of people bring me beers and say, hey, if you want to do a chug with them or whatever, and it's like, no pressure or whatever. So some of them I'll chug, some for my videos, and some of them I'll just drink, just enjoy.
Free beer.
And so one's like, he was like, I want to try it though. It looks like really good. Do you mind like saving me a little?
Yeah. And
I was like, oh yeah, no problem. And that was, weeks before, I decided to do it because sometimes I have beers lined up weeks ahead of time.
Yeah.
And so we go up on the roof. I do my chug up there. And when I get done, I was like, fuck, I didn't save some for him.
I know.
And they were coming over later that day or that evening.
Yeah.
So I was like, shit, what do I do? I was like, oh, I'll figure it out. Maybe I can get another one somehow, even though it's from like another country.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll see what happens. Didn't realize we were going to be hanging out with him. And then they came over that evening and we were up on the roof and he was like, oh, hey, like, did you save some of that beer? Can I grab some? Or no, not did you save it? Can I get that beer that you saved for me? Like the taste of it so you can try it. And I was like, oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And so I panicked and I went downstairs because we were all up on the rooftop and you were still up there. I came down. I was like looking through my fridge to find something, anything. No, and this was like a stout.
Yeah, we're not gonna have one in there.
Yeah, and so I was like, "Fuck, what do I do?" So I run downstairs. I run across the street to the craft beer bar, CMC, and I go to the guy and I was like, I need a beer that has these flavors or these ingredients. Like, what's the closest thing you got?
Yeah.
And so
they know you there. They're like, Chud.
Yeah. So they sell one to me. I run back across the street to our apartment, poured in into the can of the beer I actually chugged.
Yeah.
Poured a little bit in there just so it was in the correct
can,
and then went upstairs and gave it to my friend. Yeah, and loved it. He was like, "Oh my god, this is so delicious!
Amazing.
Like, this is amazing. Thank you so much." Da, 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 da. And so I don't know. Like, am I a shitty person for lying to my friend, or am I a good friend for trying to make what they wanted to do happen? If that makes sense.
I have 3 things.
Okay, shoot.
Number 1, how are you expected to save some of a beer? What if you weren't going to see them that day? Or what if you did your chug earlier or later? Or so, how could you be expected? Like, put in a little Tupperware container, a couple sips for me, and I'll get to you when I get to you.
Yeah,
like, that's kind of a weird request.
It was sent to me, or it was said to me when it was given to me. So it was like, oh, whenever you do it, I'd like to try it or whatever. So I was, you're giving me a beer. So I'm like, oh, of course, and a stout doesn't like really go flat. Like you can leave a stout in the fridge for a couple days, like a little bit of it just for the flavors of it. It might not be the freshest or whatever, but
I get you, people.
Yeah.
Number 2, I would say that you are very sweet for going to all that effort to just, go along with it. Like, yeah, I saved it for you and go through all that stuff to actually get it. No one else would do that. And they definitely don't think you're lying because they never thought anybody would do that. Like, he forgot to give me the stout or save some of the stout, so he ran. There's no way he did that,
I know. It's like one of those things, you want to tell someone, like, this is what I did for you, bro.
Yeah.
But then you can't tell them because then they find out that you kind of hornswoggle them. So I felt bad about it, but I also was trying to be a good friend and stick to, like, my word of, letting them try it or whatever.
You know, it's funny, too. My number 3 is you notice which friends listen to the podcast and which ones don't.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we mentioned quite a few of you, and good, not usually bad, always good.
Yeah.
But it's funny when you hear like, "Hey, I heard episode blah blah blah. You were talking about me." I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah. Well, I don't think he listens, so that's why I was like, "Yeah, this will be fine." So
Hilarious.
if you do figure it out, I apologize.
Lo siento.
Yeah.
Good effort, though.
Shoot. What else do we got here? So this happened when my buddy Tom was in town.
Tulum Tom.
Tulum Tom. And he was staying in an Airbnb, and very nice building, really nice pool.
Really nice, really close to us, too.
Yeah. So he invited me over, and we're up there swimming in their infinity pool, and they have a great view. Like, you can see the whole city and just like all the different buildings and rooftops. Really cool. And we're watching, there's like a rooftop puppy across the way, and we're watching him run around having a good time because whoever owns that building had made it like kind of fenced it off or put fences around the building so the dog can't jump off, but has a place to like play and everything.
And for people that don't know, like, we see that a lot here in Mexico. The roofs they're not like a point like it
They're
in
flat.
the States. They're flat. So people have gardens up there and lawn chairs, and they hang out and do different things. Puppies are always up there. Like, we'll be walking or running, and you just see dogs, like big dogs, like looking over, barking at you or playing, and we call them roof puppies.
Yeah. So we're, just kind of looking around, and then we see this other apartment building, and there's some of the units, and there's people living in them, and the shades are open.
Oh.
And I tapped my buddy Tom on the shoulder, and I said, "Hey, buddy, why don't you check out that top apartment?" It's like, there's a woman in there laying on her bed naked.
Ooh.
And not trying to be a creepy creeperson.
Creepy.
Well, hey, you're looking at dudes' dicks across the...
I was going to say, is it naked guy? Because yikes.
Yeah.
Good luck.
So I don't know what it is, people leaving their windows open and being naked, but
I don't think they know.
it's a thing. Yeah. So like, she's laying on her bed naked, and you can see her butt cheeks or whatever. And it's quite a distance. So, we're seeing it from far away. And I was like, it was guy time. So I take my phone out and I zoom in to see like, what's this lady look like? It was a dude.
Oh my God. Was it our naked guy?
No, this is like blocks over, some other naked
Different
dude
naked guy.
reading a book naked on his bed with his big old butt cheeks hanging out.
Oh my
And I was like,
God.
all right,
All right.
it's time to call it a day.
That is what you guys get for window peeping.
Hey, maybe close your fucking windows.
Peeping Tom. You were with Peeping
Oh,
Tom.
Peeping Tom.
Oh my God. Tulum Tom is now Peeping Tom.
Yes.
Except you were the peeper.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Tom will love that.
Yes. Let's see what else has happened. We were in this place. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like Mexican Radio Shack.
Oh yeah. Like
It started with an S, like, or is it Serenin? Sterenin?
Sterner.
Sterner? Yeah, I don't know.
Samsonite.
It doesn't matter. I was way off. And we're waiting in line. We're trying to get some security cameras fixed for our buddy that has a restaurant here.
Right.
And we're waiting in line, and I look over to the line next to us, and there's a woman there, Mexican woman, with her baby, like full, like titty out,
Yep.
just breastfeeding.
I looked over and I went, nope.
Yeah.
I was like,
Which is
"Geez."
totally fine. I have no problem with it.
Totally fine.
I just don't know how to act around that stuff, because I'm not like trying to see your boob or whatever, but I just feel like when you just kind of glance around, you look at it, you're like, oh God,
I know. I want to give respect, like look
Yeah.
away. That's your thing. You're cool, whatever.
But I don't know if they care, because they have enough, free whatever to
Yeah.
like have their titty out. So they, must not care if you glance on accident, because it was all on accident.
I'm just like, why in Radio Shack? I mean, the baby's got to eat. It's got to eat. But this woman was like multitasking at its finest. She had like her phone out. She was talking to the dude about her cameras or whatever it was while breastfeeding. I'm like,
Yeah.
You are a mom. Good for you.
Yeah.
Like, moms are amazing.
And the baby was like 14.
No,
I think.
it was a big baby
Yeah,
though.
it was, because you could see him pulling back, and the nip was like Stretch Armstrong.
No, he was a big baby wrapped up in a little bundle.
Yeah,
but
in a papoose.
yeah, I just don't know if I'm like, I know I can do this task, but do I really want to do it in Radio Shack with a bunch of like people there?
That's fucking multitasking at its finest.
It is,
I mean,
it is.
you're not only feeding your baby, you're getting customer service.
Yeah.
You're out in public, like,
She's on her phone,
yeah.
like things.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if I would have the balls to do it,
Yeah,
but
or the titties.
yes, yes.
Oh shoot. Let's see what else. I wrote this down. Question: do people still know what the word stool means?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I think it means poop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so what was it? My mom had said it in a text or
Your
something.
mom.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's like, typos,
Right,
autocorrect,
of course.
whatever. So I read between the lines. I tell both moms, don't even correct yourself. We know what you're saying. It's all good most of the time. I read it and I'm like, what word is supposed to be there? Like toilet or something? And you're like, yeah, that's an old school word for it. Never heard that in my life. Never heard it.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard of like obviously like stool sample and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, stool is like
That makes sense.
get off the stool. Like it's.
I've heard like get off the pot, the commode, the toilet, the potty. I'm a big potty.
What do you
person.
call a short chair with no back?
A stool?
Exactly.
But
it's something you sit on.
yeah, maybe toilets back then looked more. I'm sure they did.
Well, it's still
tiny.
like the same.
True. Seat with
yeah,
no back.
seating. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
True.
yeah, so
Weird.
I just didn't know if that was not a common thing or if it's just something you would not. It's definitely an older word. Like nobody fucking says that other than my mom, I guess. But
Yeah, my mom still says commode, and I'm like, ew.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
really
I'm like,
jacks me off.
Yeah. She
doesn't listen to this, so we can talk about it.
No, we could have a whole Cindy podcast, whatever.
So is it an actual thing or does she get it confused? Because it's like the phrase that I know is it really ticks me off.
Yeah.
Or
Grinds my
or
gears or
getting if you're on a lot of caffeine, you're really jacked up.
Yeah.
But she, when is irritated, will say it really jacks me off. And I know,
so much.
she's from, Pennsylvania. So
Pittsburgh.
yeah, there's in the Northeast, people say jagoffs and stuff like that.
We have our own. I was going to say like each state has their own like lingo, but Pittsburghese, it's like got its own name. It's a whole nother like dialect. Yeah. I don't know.
But answer the question. Is that something people say or is it just lost in translation?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It could be both. It could be like my mom is in her late 60s, so it could have been her time that in Pittsburgh they said that, or it could just be Cindy being Cindy, which probably is the case.
Yeah, that's funny. We love you, Cindy.
My mom says some funny things. I love it.
Yeah.
But every time she'll be so angry too. It really jacks me off. And I just die laughing. She'll be like, shut up, Alexis. It's so funny.
But she doesn't correct herself. She's just like, shut up.
She's
Stop.
like, it means the same thing. I'm like, I don't think it does. And it's 2023.
Or
So maybe we
peeved
should.
me off. I think that's,
Yeah.
I'm really peeved. Like,
really pissed off. I'm really, really, I don't know. But I was like, maybe we change it now because other people are going to hear you and it's not going to make sense.
No. Another thing I had written down was this is when I was in Isla Mujeres, and this was just kind of like a good, positive, heartfelt moment to me. Huh. I was in a little, they call them mini supers, where basically they're just like little mini gas stations without gas.
Yeah,
they're
a little
like
grocery store.
They got snacks and chips and drinks and stuff like that, but yeah, that's about it. So I was getting a beer, and I go up to the counter, and it's a guy that's running it, and he has a little daughter with him. Oh. I think she's like 7. I don't know. I can't judge kids. She could be 25. Who knows?
No,
she was a little girl. She was a little girl. And so I brought like my beer up to the counter, and I'm sitting there, and she's over there like being like really cute. She's like doing little poses and stuff like that, and he's taking pictures of her. And I stood there for a couple minutes, it felt like, until he waited on me. And while I think a lot of people would be irritated, and maybe in another day I might have been, I just thought it was really cool that like, even though he's just running a little snack stand, and he has a customer and nobody else in the store that wants to give him money, he's like, family comes first, bro. I'm going to take pictures of my daughter and, play with her and make her happy before I get to the customer. So
cute.
Yeah, I just thought that was a cool moment.
I think it's very Mexico too.
True.
That's just usually like they're in the moment. Whatever's going on is the most important thing at the time, whether we consider it important or not as customers, but I kind of respect that, and it kind of pisses me off at the same time.
Yeah.
But
it pisses me off more at the grocery store when, like, we've talked about, I can't remember if we talked about on the podcast before,
Probably.
But it's like the customer service, at least at the grocery stores we go to, is very weird where the employee, like, at least in the US and other places, it seems like they teach the employees, like, even if you're restocking food or, whatever, like you drop everything and you figure out how to like help that customer. Even
Yeah.
at clothing stores when I worked there,
Yeah.
I worked in the stock room. But if I was on the floor like restocking things, if I couldn't help you, I had to go find someone that could.
Oh yeah,
But-
you got to be helpful or get out of that person's way. Like the grocery store, if you're stocking the shelf and they want the spaghetti sauce, get out of the way. They know I'm standing here and I want this shit. Like move.
So yeah, here if they're restocking things, it's like they have tunnel vision of I've been given this task and I will do anything to finish this task. There's no deviation. There's no like, multitasking. No. If they're in the way and they can tell that you are like trying to get something, they're not moving. No. I'm restocking this. I will reach in front of you to restock this stuff or grab this or that. Like they're basically kind of like fuck the customer.
They're pretty much just like, sorry, I'm busy. Come back.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll just circle around.
Yeah. It's very, very weird.
It's strange to us for sure. Coming from like Publix to the supermercados of the world here. So it's funny.
And the last thing, and this is an observation I also saw again in Isla Mujeres. Previously, our friend, I can't remember, is she from Canada or the UK or whatever, but she was telling us, I don't remember what we were talking about with like Americans versus like other people from Europe and stuff. Right. But she said it's an interesting observation to me is Americans always say the state they're from, and people from all over the world will tell you what country they're from.
Right.
If you're in the United States, sure, that makes sense.
State,
But like if you're like, and I noticed it with my friends when we were in Europe, we were in like Hungary and somebody asked where we were from and they said Florida.
Yeah.
Where it's just like kind of that American thought process of everybody knows Florida.
Right.
And even here in Mexico, I have a hard time saying Iowa because I'm like, even though we're one country over, they don't know where the fuck Iowa is. I usually say near Chicago or something like that.
They know Chicago, like the big ones, Chicago, New York, Miami. But other than that, they're like, Iowa, what?
Yeah. And this was even funnier because these two countries neighbor each other. When I was in Isla Mujeres, I was driving around on not the bus, or it was the bus, that $1 bus. So I was riding around on that bus. And when we were stopping by a speed bump to go to the speed bump, there was these two dudes sitting there talking, and I could hear their conversation very quickly as I rode by. And this one guy goes, "Where are you from?" And he said, "Canada." And then the other guy goes, "Well, where are you from?" And he goes, "Texas."
Yep.
It's like it just brought that memory back. It's like even though somebody from Canada probably knows Texas, even the Canadian didn't say like, "Oh, I'm from Quebec" or "I'm from Toronto" or whatever.
Yeah.
They said Canada and he said Texas. So I don't know. It's not a big deal. I don't think anyone really gets upset about it.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting observation. So I always try to say the U.S. or the States or the United States first. And then if they ask where, then I'll say where. So I don't know. Just interesting.
Unidos? How do you say
it? Yeah.
I think of it too now when people ask me where I'm from. I think of that story, that instance every time, and I make sure I say the U.S. But I feel like, or the States or United States, whatever. I feel like the last couple of times we've been asked that and we say, "Oh, the United States." They're like, "Yeah, but where?" We moved from Georgia. Yeah, but where? And I'm like, now it's like the opposite of what's happening.
It's like I'm zooming in on Google Earth to try to show you.
Sometimes I'm just like Florida, and they're like, "I know Florida." Okay, cool. Bye. Whatever.
Oh shoot! All right, yeah. Well that's about it. Those are just some of our little things we've noticed.
Those are some good stories.
Yeah. But obviously, New Year's is in a couple days.
Yeah.
So hopefully everybody has a good. I don't even know what we're doing yet.
I don't know.
We are flying. I mean, technically, we're flying back to Mexico today.
Right.
Because we did Christmas here or in Iowa, and then going back to celebrate New Year's in Mexico.
I think we might do like a party at home or at a Freaky Tiki or something.
Oh, yeah, sounds
something
fun.
like that. But Happy New Year's.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. Happy 2024. Hopefully this year is much, much better for everyone.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, right?
2023 was
It's not going to though. I mean, I've been saying this for maybe
don't be negative.
The last. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to be real. But probably since like 2017 is when I really started saying it. Just people always say, "Oh, I just hope this year is going to be better. This last one was shit."
Yeah.
And every year seems to be shit. I mean, it's not as a whole, but people always like, "Oh, this happened or that happened. Like, we had an amazing year this year, but also, you know, we lost Tiger.
Yeah, that's why we're, you know, disgruntled about 2023.
But I just feel like people during New Year's always say, oh, this year sucked. I can't wait to see what 2024 brings or whatever.
Yeah,
but
I think people usually say like, oh, I hope it's the best year yet. But I don't want the best year yet. I just want a better year than in, you know, all my different avenues than last year. It's just a little bit better, just a little bit. That would be great.
Agreed. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for supporting the podcast by listening. If you'd like to donate, buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on Hiatus. You can buy us beers there. Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram. All of them are at Hansons on Hiatus. If you have any ideas for the new year, with anything you'd like to hear, something for us to do,
we're brainstorming.
Yeah, I mean, we thought about maybe having some of our friends that live here, that have lived here for a while, or that are Mexican or whatever, come in here and just talk about certain things that even we have questions about.
Yeah.
But we got to get another microphone because we only got 2.
Yeah, we need another one.
Yeah. So again, everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Friday, fuckers.
Happy Friday, fuckies.
That's it. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now. Bye.